Good afternoon, everyone. This is Marcel, the president of Digital PNA, launches us off our October 15th presentation. Super happy that you're here. We are broadcasting live, so if you are chiming in from YouTube, feel free to leave a comment. Let us know where you're coming from. And we're just going to dive in because we have a great presentation in store today. So yes, I am the president for the year, and the theme is, wouldn't it be cool if? So think for a moment, wouldn't it be cool if you got 3 referrals today? Wouldn't it be cool if the Mariners won again?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if, I don't know, like you lost 36 pounds like Brian did, whatever. Maybe that might not be good for some of us. Anyways, be in that curiosity and that possibility of wouldn't it be cool if, because that is where the magic often happens. Okay, this is our current lineup of Digital PNA members. We're constantly growing and shifting, but take a screenshot of this. This is their Instagram handles above their head there. So we're very interactive here. We love it when people are sharing or connecting or doing interviews on Instagram Live. That's one of the encouragements I give people. But we have a great lineup, and we're always looking for more people. So if you know anybody that would love to network in this digital realm, we would love to be connected to them. Okay, Brian Trendler, take it away on this screen, please.
You bet. Thanks to everybody who sent in the closed business that they've earned so far for the month. The numbers are growing. It's always good to see that happening. If for any reason that's a foreign concept to you, it's any business you've earned from any referral that started from a PNA or digital PNA status. And that, yeah, I saw that. I'm so glad this is being recorded. The main thing there is that people forget all the time that if Mike earns business from me, for example, and then 2 or 3 people down the line end up going to Mike, that can be counted. So think outside the box. Think of any recurring revenue you might have as well. Get that to me before the 2 times a month meeting, and I'll update the numbers. We need to start having more one-to-ones between members. I highly recommend that, solely because, especially because now we're in Q4. So yes, people are distracted with sport and things like that, but also people might have goals that they need to hit by end of year. And if we're not having those one-to-ones, we may not be aware of what those goals are. So I encourage you to do that, do more of that. And then current video shares, that's actually probably 3 or 4, because a couple of people have shared out some of the things that I've done, and maybe a few others have had shares. So if you know folks are sharing out your video, please let me know, because one of the biggest things about Digital PNA, it's also about syndication. And if that's a foreign thing to you, have a one-to-one with Marcel, or bring a video that you want us to share out every single time we meet. And it's going to help increase your viewership. And sometimes through their network, you might connect with a whole ton of people you might otherwise not have the opportunity. So that's where we're at for the month so far. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. So here at Digital PNA, we have different roles throughout the session. So I'm looking for a photographer and or a video clip snagger. So you do not have to be a fancy videographer here. We just want people to capture clips. Oh, Brian, excellent. I know he's been working on his story, so happy to have you do that. And feel free to tag the people, whether on Facebook or on Instagram, if they are in it. And a meme tracker or a meme maker. So this person listens for quotables. They might track data points. We're listening for, key insights. Does anybody want to do this one today?
I'll take quotables.
All right, BV, excellent. So our theory here is every meeting or session should have something quotable, something worth sharing online, something worth talking about. And so whether you're the presenter or somebody else says something great, the whole idea is we're not meeting just to meet. We're meeting to move an industry forward, or improve communities, or bring ideas out that are important. So thank you, BV. And then update your story. I encourage everybody to do that, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or even YouTube Shorts. You can update your story and tag PNA NW online, or whoever is in the photo. And then tag people on your socials if you are inspired to. So with that, let's keep moving forward. And thank you for the volunteers. So in your commercial, you get to talk for about 90 seconds, give or take. I'm not going to time you up. But tell us about a recent win, or if you have an ask. Maybe you have a new video you want to get some shares on, or you want to set some one-to-ones, or I don't know, you got featured in some cool magazine and you want to brag about it. We want to celebrate you. So do your commercial, introduce us, tell us who an ideal client or a referral would be, and then something, a digital win of sorts. So I'm going to drop the order of the chat and the comments here. So Mike, I'm going to start with you, Brian, BV, Jackson, Courtney, Marcel. Okay. Brian or Mike, take it away.
Thank you, Marcel. I am Mike with the Puget Sound Business Journal, which is a business-to-business publication, but also a website, and crucially, and I think in a way most effectively, an event company. We bring people together at about 29 events over the year to connect, and that leads to business, and it leads to relationships, and that then will lead to advertising, we believe, and promotion. So the event, it often starts with events. What I would ask is if you or the people you know, if they have plans to effectively use events or networking in 2026, to ask them to consider talking to me. I have a variety of events of a variety of different flavors that can often lead to real business being done. So I'd love to talk with them. Mike with the Puget Sound Business Journal.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike. And I heard you had a great event last week. So good job.
Thank you.
Brian Trundler.
Hi, everybody. Yep, I got it. Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, or yeah, it's technically afternoon. I'm Brian Trundler. As it says, I own PNA, so thanks for being here. But I also represent with Marcel Allen. Laugh Tech stands for Learn About Funny Techniques, as well as a division of which is BT Presents. I want to talk about a public warning. There's something in the water. People, do not drink the water. Everyone is saying yes to marriage proposals. And I've been actually very busy booking those subsequent marriage proposals when they need to find an officiant. I also joke and call myself an efficient because I can either do it all or I can just show up and do my job, the invocation, sign the paperwork, and disappear back into the forest. But people do like utilizing the way I approach working with the pending bride and groom to make their story, their love story, personable, bring it into the invocation, make people laugh, make people lighten up a little bit and feel the energy in the room. So if you know people who have recently said yes, what they do need to do when they're thinking about their I do's is contact me.
Got it. Like it. Dig it.
Awesome. And I dropped his Instagram link there. We've been revamping an officiant focused one for those brides and grooms. So Brian, I'm asking people to go follow and like and see all those magical photos there. Okay, up next we had BV. Take it away, BV.
Well, at last second, I'm kind of pivot. So what I do, I call myself a life changer, because some of those other traditional titles cause people to tune out. The kind of things we do for people changes their lives, and kind of the reverse chronology. Why would we do this? Why would somebody talk to me? Well, something has already happened. Like, hey, maybe you're going to get married, and there's some financial implications or things you wonder, what do I do? How does it work? Am I okay? How do I do better? How do I take care of my person? Those are the best kind of people to talk to, because they've made some decision. This has to do with my presentation. They've decided something. Now what? What are the implications? Maybe things I don't know. Because I have some white whiskers, because somehow I've lived on this planet for 65 years and I've screwed up a bunch of stuff. And I could probably help you not screw up some things by asking me, what's your best screw up, BV, and how can I do better? So Vaughn Life is my vaughnlife.net is a business. The stuff that I do is help people wonder, what do I do? Am I going to be okay? And is there a dollar sign and a question mark? Let's have a conversation. Those are the kind of people I'd like to talk to.
Awesome. Thank you, BV. Great to see you. All right, Daxton, you're up.
Hi, I'm Daxton. I work at Dreamosity, and we're a creative media team, and we help your brands and organizations communicate your message through storytelling and video. So we do like video production, photography, social media, things like that. And yeah, we just want to turn your ideas into videos that inspire action and build a community.
Well said, Daxton. So happy to have you here checking us out today, and welcome officially to, or almost officially to, the Bothell PNA chapter.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Courtney, you're up.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Courtney Hamilton. I am with Country Financial Insurance. So a win that I've had this month and just the past few months has been helping my clients protect their most, important assets, like their homes and their cars. So I had a client, his renewal for his home insurance was a little over $5,000 a year. And I was able to save him half. So by switching over and then bundling the auto as well, because they didn't have the auto bundled. So it's just things like that, reviewing your coverages and what you have. And I can help people. So that's a big savings. And Country Financial has been in business for 100 years this year. And I've been with Country for 9 years. So it's a great company. And we take care of our clients.
Excellent. Good job, Courtney. And I'll go next. So as you guys heard before, my name's Marcel Allen. Let's see if I can move my face over there or not. Hey, it's Marcel. And one of my new wins is Daxton. Daxton joined the team. I guess it was last month. But our team is growing. I've got somebody now in Bothell PNA and Arlington PNA. And actually, Charlie, our gal out of Arlington, has closed a lot of business in the last 2 weeks because of the Arlington chapter. So I'm giving myself a pat on the back because I've been training these sales team members, and it's very exciting to me to see that I do not have to be there for the magic to work. Like, I love the scripts and the ideas are working, and so I'm very proud of that. And then also yesterday was a win. I was at a client 16th business anniversary celebration, and I was kind of one of the hosts, and it was just really fun to see all the love and 40 people in the room and a lot of hugs and flowers, and it was fantastic. But my ask is, so today is Drawtober, and I just posted on my personal Facebook page a video about profitable pumpkins. So I'm going to get you guys the link, but if you would go either like or comment, or if you're feeling bold, you can share it, but really just comments, because what I'm asking people to do is a little bit different. And with profitable pumpkin as the Drawtober prompt, I'm asking people to chime in. How many months out of these last 9 months of the year have they been profitable? Has there been 6 pumpkins, 7 pumpkins, 8 pumpkins, 9 for 9, right? I'm encouraging people to go back and look. And if they don't have a bookkeeper, of course, we've got Rosie here I can refer them to. But just, I'm looking for comments or even questions, like, what the heck are you doing, Marcel? Like, I'm open to all feedback on that if you think it's kind of silly. But I remember last year with that prompt, a gentleman reached out. He says, I've only had 5. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to fix it, right? So when people realize they're batting 50-50 for positive or negative net profit, they need to work with somebody like me who can help them get creative and find more leverage points. Anyway, I think I'm rambling now, but that's my ask, is a video comment or some feedback on that. So thank you for the commercials. And then we're going to do the same order here. We're going to go in the same order, but your question, the curveball question, is, what was the last podcast you were on, or what would one be that you'd like to be on, right? Like, it'd be cool to be on the Mel Robbins podcast, wouldn't it? But Mike, what about you? Last podcast or one you might want to be on?
Well, I can speak to effectively a video podcast that I wasn't on, but did create and engineer and publish for my client, Primera Blue Cross. So we were able to work with them to do a video interview between their CEO and my publisher. The idea being that then we publish that video on our website, which helps the Primera team raise their level of visibility around issues like how hard it is to do business in Washington State and how you have to have good partners to do business. It worked tremendously well. So while I was not the talent, I got the talent and produced the talent to good effect. And that was a month ago.
Excellent. Good for you. Well, if you find that link, we'd love to see it. All right, Brian, you're up next.
Yep. So I guess I can say the last podcast I was on, I didn't know it was going to be a podcast because they ended up stripping the audio off of almost an hour-long video. It was with the real estate agent, Greg Elwin, who sold my house when I was in a pretty rough situation a few months back. So he sold my house in record time, and we just did the video cast. And like I said, I wasn't aware it was going to be stripped out, not me, the audio, and used for that purpose. So I was on that one, and in about a week and a half or so, I'm going to be on BV. So I'm very excited about that. So there we go. That's my answer. I'm sticking to it.
That is exciting. Okay, BV.
Well, I have a podcast that's not directly business related. So I do that, and I try to invite anybody who's interested and curious, and it would be fun to get people thinking about things differently. There are podcasts that'd be great to be on because I don't consume a lot, but some of the things that I'd like to have conversations with people who don't think like me, and just have conversations. People like, not everybody's heard of, folks like Scott Galloway, who's really interesting. He has no sense of humor. I want to go lighten that dude up because he's a national, super big time, but why does he got to be so serious, man? This doesn't have to be so onerous. But he really probes things, and people who like to talk with people with whom they disagree. And I like to see that blending of thought and cultivating curiosity, which is kind of my theme for the conversation today. So, but stay tuned for mine, because those who might like to be on a podcast, I've got something that works well, and I'm doing I'm going to add this little element. There's someone that I'll share with you who's got a great podcast, and it's a woman she's in New York, actually, from San Diego. She has a thing, Can I Walk With You? And she just walks up to strangers, and it's so great. And I like that kind of random question stuff. So I'll share that and invite that. And if you guys want to be in a podcast, I know a guy.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, BV. How about you, Daxton? Have you been on a podcast before?
No, I've never really been on a podcast before. But I guess for one that I would like to be on potentially, there's a New York subway one, and they kind of ride the subway together, and then they talk about various things on the subway.
Nice. So that means you get to go to New York too.
Yeah.
That's what should be awesome.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing. How about you, Courtney? Have you been on a podcast recently, or want to be?
I don't know if I've been on like a audio podcast. I've been on video interviews with people that I work with, like mortgage lenders, where they like ask insurance questions to like send them to their clients. I think I've done that once or twice. Those are always fun for me because I like answering questions. People don't know as much about insurance as they think they do.
Right.
Right. Excellent. Cool share. Well, thank you.
Hey, Marcella, can I add one little nugget that Daxton reminded me of? This next phase of things we're going to do, we don't have subways here, but we have the ferry, which is a connecting thing. There's all kind of metaphors, and I've got this plan to think of some brand I might be opening. What's a good way to brand that aspect of, talking on the boat or something? So you got 20 minutes to do something, and then bye. So that's coming up next in the Crow Tribe conversation. So
excellent. I can't wait to see
maybe
it.
talking the boat, dude.
So the next time, if I prepare you guys better, we can get the links ready and I can actually screen share. So my answer is I was on Interrupted Act 2, doodling the data. And I think Lori, many of you met her last session. She was a guest on here, but she's looking for people whose lives have been like totally interrupted, whether it's by medical or emotional or physical or who knows what, financial. So these are actually, I was number 123. She's in about 130 now. And so these are some great binge watchers, or if you've got a friend who's going through a hard time, definitely check it out because it's really cool to see what they have. So, okay.
Interrupted. I love that title too.
Yeah. So thanks for asking or answering the question. There's always a curveball question here designed to help people learn about new digital spaces, resources, guests that they could follow up with or clients they could go chase down. but the internet is a big, beautiful place, and it's really fun when you start to learn just how many great resources there are out there. Okay, moving forward, we have our speaker of the day, Brian Vaughn with Vaughn Life. So, Brian, I'm going to pass it to you in a moment or two, but give us, how many years in business has it been?
Depends on how you start it. So because I've been a financial guy since 2007, so do some math there.
Okay.
And I left the technology world to do this. But back to when I was, say, independent, I'd say a fair is, we've got about 4 or 5 years where I left I was in the JP Morgan suit and tie world, and then it used a different model. But then when I decided to brand predominantly myself, and which resource I use is different, that's been about 4 or 5 years of being fully independent. And
Excellent.
maybe that's the best way to say that. And the LLC is Vaughn Financial Partners. Boring. So I started using Vaughn Life, kind of because you guys, when I want to introduce what do I do, what's going on in your life is a question I ask people. So that's probably the closest answer.
Excellent. How about a seldom known personal fact?
Seldom known. Well, not many people knew that I used to pick pineapples for a living. So that's my Hawaii cred right there. So yeah.
Awesome. And what's the title of your presentation today? And do you need a screen share?
Yes, I do. It's fear and curiosity in decision making. Think of all the decisions we've made and why. And so that's kind of the thought. And because it does have a personal and a professional connection.
Excellent. Well, take it away. There is a little, I don't know, computer with an arrow at the bottom of your screen where you can hit screen share and select your slides, and you're on. So,
Oh, I got so many things open. Select the tab to share. Hold on. I should have done this for a window.
yeah, if you just pick the tab where your slides are. And then do you want the audience to stay with you live and get feedback, or do you want us to tuck out?
Yeah. This is all. I gotta go. If I pick the slab where oh wait, here it is. Maybe this is it. I think I got it right there. Boom.
Okay,
I should back up. Here we go.
I gotta add that, and there you go. Okay, take it away.
Can we see me or just the slides? What do you guys see?
The slide.
All right, you see Vaughn Life and my little person welcoming. All right.
Yes.
We're done with that. All right, so to kind of reintroduce, I don't like to use the word financial advisor. We have various other titles, but the one I like the most is life changer, because I want to help people. The kind of things we do, it'll change your life. It's not what you think. People think they're, anyway, there's something I want people to ask about that. And there's more to that. It's not so much about me, but on the personal level, this is what kind of dovetails with the concept of the presentation today, is that I want people to be more curious and less fearful. And some of you, if there's a way to put things in the chat or just maybe even chime in, what are some fears? What's a fear you have? And this is a question. I'd like to hear some feedback. It doesn't have to be all me talking, because I don't like the sound of my voice that much. What's a fear you have you wish you didn't have anymore? Some fear you could overcome? Any chiming in from this group? Maybe even irrational? I'm going to help you out in a little bit, but anybody? No, I can't hear anybody. Is anybody talking or thinking?
We're putting stuff in chat.
Oh, and I can't see that. So that's somebody read those chats to me, because I'm just looking at my slides. I can't see anything but that.
Daxton wrote public speaking. Marcel wrote my medical challenge remerging. I wrote imposter syndrome. I think we all have that at times. Mike Enberg, running out of energy while running.
Okay, these are good. So you're on the right track. So what I want people to be thinking about, what are those fears, and what if that wasn't a fear anymore? What if I'd overcome that? And how, so to be curious about, why am I fearful of that, right? So again, that's the title of what we're talking about today. This is an image. You just kind of, there's a couple of things that especially when I was a teenager, I became afraid of sharks. Well, what are you talking about? Well, when your dad's in the Navy, you move around, you generally live near beaches, where it's the Navy people. So you learn how to surf and do that. And I didn't give much thought to it until I think it was in the fall, as I'm a 14-year-old kid, and I had gone to see the movie Jaws, which is, creeped me out, scared me. And I forgot that I had already made when you're 14, you got to bum a ride to get somebody to drop you off. So it was the next day, I was out surfing. I had never thought of sharks before. And they just creeped me out. This is the image. That's all I could think of. And all I could hear was, dun, 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 dun. I mean, it's messed me up. There's another fear that's not quite so fearful, but I was afraid to talk to girls, dude. I was so shy. And what are you talking about? Well, I was afraid to get rejected. I was afraid of rejection. This sounds silly, but there's a connection to business and the stuff we do. So those are my two major fears. At least that's what I thought about. I wanted to go surfing, but I didn't want to go surfing, so it creeped me out. And how do I get over, the nerves to talk to somebody? Does this resonate with anybody yet? Because I could probably be really doofy, but I try to not be doofy and maybe make a point here. But
Definitely.
So I'm going to step ahead. Here's some of the things that I've collected. I have conversations like this a lot when I'm meeting people, potential clients. Some of their fears are running out of money. What if they live too long? But sometimes it's also their fear of missing out. Wait, these guys are getting more than me. Am I missing out? There are all of these kinds of things. I like to ask this kind of question. And then they start to see, well, how does this relate to why am I talking to you, Brian? I thought you were a financial advisor. Well, yeah, but more than that. The life-changing thing is addressing these smaller pieces. And as I get a sense of people, helps me figure out how to listen to them, how to talk to them, how to solve some problems, help them feel better. So anyway, so some of these we've heard of, thought about, and dying is right in the middle. Somebody once said, afraid of dying alone. That really connected with me. I want to just plant this word in here on purpose for a future conversation, because this is something that has surprised me, that how much people are afraid of otherness. That could be, I have met people, because I moved all the time. Not all of my friends look like me, sound like me, have passed like me, but that's something I want to plant the seed for future conversations, because that's an aspect of, if I was more curious about otherness than afraid of otherness, I might invite that and have just enhance your life. So planting the seed for the future. So anybody recognize this acronym? I can't see any hands. Does anybody know what this means?
Actually, no.
All right. Well, I'm messing with it, because it's really not an acronym. It's a question. This is my little kid. When my son was a little kid, he said, "Hey, Dad, what if?" That was his question. What if? So this is my really question today, to think about how you feel. What if that fear you have of public speaking, for instance, Daxon, what if you weren't afraid of public speaking and you could just own the room, step up and just own it, man? How would that feel? Can you imagine a future where, yeah, I'm good with this, right? I'm going to kind of invite you, Daxon, to kind of breathe a little bit and share, what is it about public speaking that is something that is a challenge for you?
Kind of like talking loudly or expressing my emotions when I'm speaking. I feel like I'm very monotone most of the time.
So that's what you're afraid of, is being monotone?
And also the audience just staring at me.
Well, we've all had that, and I used to be scared to death of that. I will tell you that when I was as a kid, the same thing in high school. Somebody dared me to run for school office, and I was and I'm also didn't look like the rest of the people in school. I was about 6 inches taller and way pinker than most of the people. I did it anyway for I don't even know why I did, but I was afraid of not talking to the girl. I was more afraid of the consequences of not talking to the girl. All the other things like public speaking. I'm the new super shy guy in Hawaii, and not many people look like me. I did it, and I sweat all over the place. My hands were shaking. But dude, I didn't die, man. And in fact, people didn't notice how freaked out I was. So I'm gonna, and I'm not picking on you, Daxon. Welcome, brother, and come on in, because it's going to be fine. You're going to be a killer on the stage, and you're going to grab the podium someday. I feel it. Just the fact that you're willing to get in here with us knuckleheads. I want to also make it personal. I was afraid to talk to the girl until, Brian, what has this got to do with your presentation? This is an example of me facing a fear. Here's a 16-year-old kid. Yeah, that's what the prom looked like in 1970, whatever. And I look like I'm confident in this picture. I'm so full of shit. I was scared to death. I barely spoke to Louise. I mean, I had the nerve to ask her to a prom, and we went out, and it's so sweet and innocent. But it was a step toward not dying. You know, I asked the girl and she said yes to going to the prom, and we're buddies. It was very sweet and innocent. But that was kind of a beginning of, hey, when you just go talk to the cute girl, you start, and it's not fatal. And I think I could have asked somebody before and I didn't. So there's a lot of those kind of, is this resonating at all with people? Because I may be losing the audience. I know I get kind of distracted with how I make a point. I'm going to listen for a second.
You're getting there.
Yes,
All right.
we read
All right. All right. So we're going to get off of that stuff. Here's where this is kind of the boring piece of this, and I mooched this graphic, but I've used this a lot about to get over what you're comfortable with. People are afraid of, they won't do something because they're afraid, right? And think of this continuum here where you're safe and you're going to stay home. You're not going to go out. You're not going to ask for the date. Or in business, I'm not going to ask for the order. I'm not. If you don't call anybody and say, "Hey, this is what I do for a living. Maybe I can help you," and I want to make sure you hear that I'm not preaching, man. I'm a hypocrite. I still have a lot of improvement to do. But as I address my own comfort zone and figure out, would I be more comfortable just staying here or work on a spreadsheet or something? Well, you got to go. We got to ask people. We got to ask for the business. Go invite business. Get uncomfortable. And you can read all this stuff as that go to past the fear zone to the learning zone. The one that I really focus on is extend your comfort zone, and kind of stay with me for a second. The things that are uncomfortable, and maybe this doesn't connect, but I have people. So Brian, you've made some changes in your diet and you've lost 38 pounds. Other people, their physical connections that I've seen, that when they get comfortable eating differently or pick at something even simpler. Nobody's done push-ups in their whole life. The first time you do push-ups after a couple of days, it hurts, man. That's not comfortable. But if you've done that, you know, a month from now, you're still doing it. That's not so scary anymore. It's not so uncomfortable. There's kind of a metaphor there. Once you practice doing what's uncomfortable, it is no longer uncomfortable. You've expanded your comfort zone. Extend your comfort zone. There's a business purpose in that. What are the kind of things we all do in business, me included? You know, I get to do the part of my business that's comfortable, but the part that gets me to that boom, where we're making, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, we're changing hundreds of people's lives, we're making a difference, we're feeling fulfilled, we're feeling happy, comfortable. And so that's the kind of thing that I do. So I want to break it all the way down to the thing that I kind of want to stop share, just kind of quit looking at the graphic because that gets people distracted. I'm going to stop sharing. Is that working? I stopped sharing. What am I doing now? Can you see me?
We see you, yes.
I don't see me. All right. Well, that's okay. The thing that I want people to be thinking about is a lot of people are afraid of the ask. Those of us in business, I think the essential basic thing for all of us to do is ask to be in that podcast, ask for that meeting, ask for whatever. And why do we not do that? Well, we want to be comfortable. They might, like the girl, here's the analogy. They might say yes. You know, I asked Louise and holy crap, she said yes. So when we ask for the meeting, ask for to go out on that date, but at a simpler level, ask for help. And this is where I'm most hypocritical. I've been uncomfortable asking for help professionally, personally, all kinds of ways. That's one of the things that I just had to get over. I'm better than I used to be, and I can be better at asking for help. So having that fear, here's what I want to help people understand, that my own curiosity. Well, I want people to be more curious about their own fears and curious about the success on the other side of that fear, that is more curious than they are fearful. I want you guys to know, and I want other people to know, that I'm really curious about what is it like to be you, whoever you are. I mean, I could have probed Daxton for quite a while about, because I used to be you, man. It was 10 minutes ago and somehow I'm an old man already. So I understand what it's like. I think I get what it's like to be apprehensive about talking. But what I want, and I'll go back to share then. So if I can reshare the screen and punctuate this, because I don't need to talk for 20 minutes. I can turn it into conversation. Can I share again? How do I do that?
So go back to your Restream app or the tab.
Oh, okay, I see what I got. We're getting smart at this. Restream, select a tab.
You're basically producing a mini show within a show right now. So you're doing great.
Okay. All right. How bad can it be? So let's see. So entire screen. Oh, I want to tab. How come I can't see this thing here? Well, This is kind of weird. Oh, here it is. I got too much stuff going. Here it is.
Are you one of those people with like 20 tabs open, BV?
Well, yeah. Okay, now you can probably see back to my screen. We'll go back here. We're going to wrap things up here, close it up. Otherness, what if, that's the thing. There's me and Wheezy. All right, extend your comfort zone. We're going to get this is the bumper sticker.
We're
that
still
has helped.
on slide 1, BV. Check out the restream, what we're seeing. If you bounce back over.
We're still on slide 1.
No, you just killed it, so it went away. You should be able to see both when you're in the Restream app, your screen and yourself.
Sorry about all of this, you guys. I should have just kept talking and left the screen going there.
You're doing great. You got time.
Oh, I'm not uncomfortable. I'm okay being awkward, but I do have 20 screens open. That's probably part of the here it is. Okay, now I'm in here. Now I share my screen. I see all of us.
Yep.
Select the tab to share. I should have shut a lot of this stuff down. Comfort zone. See, I don't see.
Now, once you hit screen share on the Restream app, I'll be able to allow it to the stream. Remember the little computer-like icon with the arrow going up?
Well, you guys, I have Microsoft tab, window.
There we go. Okay, here it comes.
So now I'm not in presentation mode.
Yep, I still see your first, and now I'm on slide 12, so that's right.
So you see, get comfortable being uncomfortable?
Yep.
Are we having fun yet, everybody?
We're getting there.
Daxon, how you feeling, man? See, public speaking, it's okay to screw up. People still love you, dude. So just saying. That's something. I'm making it, you don't have to be perfect. Just kind of keep on, you're in good hands. So this, I related to this. Do you see this Albert Einstein quote? Does anybody see it? You see it? All right. That's the this kind of thing with this guy is so humble, but also I could kind of relate to this. I'm not particularly good at anything, but in my case, I would change the word passionately to annoyingly. I don't have any special talents, but I'm annoyingly curious. My wife can tell you, I annoy the crap out of her because I wonder stuff. But in particular, I wonder, what is it like to be you? And I've developed some connections and skills and relationships that I can help people feel better and get on the other side of that thing they're afraid of, in particular, afraid of the ask. So I want to help people be curious and curious about what's on the other side of that fear and talk about those fears, and then we can kind of get things done. So be thinking about that.
Maybe I still see your slide 12. Are you on to 13 now?
Oh, I just hit click and advances. Maybe the...
Yeah, we're not seeing the full presentation. We're seeing the slide deck. So I can tell you're stuck on 12. There you go. There's the thoughtful button.
All right. So when I click, evidently for future reference, when I put it in presentation mode, so you'll just see the whole slide deck. So I'm gonna kind of cheat a little bit. We're gonna do this. Something to learn about how to. All right. The next one. It's not as fun as I want it to be. So you see this picture?
Yes.
All right. Somebody else I asked and she said yes. So I got over my nervousness about asking the girl. So there's a longer, more romantic story to that. So back to finish this up. If you want to have a conversation and talk about any of this, including what the heck are you talking about? Maybe I'm too confusing. Go to my website. You can, if you want to know about how I help people have more money, more protection, more confidence, especially this financially, email me or click the button that says schedule the conversation. You can find some time, and I'd love to hear whatever you're afraid of and whatever you're curious about, and then help you have some life-changing experiences. That's my time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, BV. We appreciate it. So it is a lot of moving pieces when you're in the producer chair. So I get you. Let's see if I can actually bring back up our slide here as well.
Well, it's Q&A first, so don't bother, Em. Keep it like this.
Okay. So any questions for BV before we dive into speech breakout?
BB, what do you think? What would you say your strengths are when working with clients? Because as of late, I've run into a half dozen Edward Jones people like they're flocks of birds attacking every networking event. And there's a number of other ones out there in general. And fiduciaries like yourself, you guys always seem to try to carve your own specific niche or focus. So what do you think your primary strengths are, aside from getting people comfortable with talking about themselves and, unwinding that?
I'm more curious about getting to know somebody than I am about getting paid.
Okay.
I've got a similar cynicism about, I try to make it super short. The industry that I have been in, whether it's the investment piece or the life insurance strategies, that a lot of people are just trying to make money and trying to sell to whoever can pay the most. I started doing this in my 40s because I didn't like that approach. I thought, wait, there's some help and education. There's a lot of people who know what they know, but they don't know as much about how to utilize the financial world.
Yeah.
And I've told the story. I know lawyers who are making, $500,000 a year. They really don't know what an IRA is, for example. And I'm being literal. I've had people like that. So, and they're afraid of admitting what they don't know. Speaking of a fear, that's a really common thing.
Yeah.
I was embarrassed to ask because I'd be embarrassed for people to know that I don't know shit about investing. I don't know a damn thing about how do you use life insurance the smart way. They're afraid of being taken advantage of. So I want people to go, let me just figure out. So that's been my thing. And
yeah. Okay.
I enjoyed that.
Cool. Thank you.
I still can't see you guys, so I got to close some screens so I can see you guys.
Try to navigate back to the one with the big red thing that says recording on top. That's the Restream app. Look for a red.
No, I got you there. I got to shut it down. 27 other things here, so I'm here with you. So carry on.
Any other questions before we dive into this part?
So Brian, what would you say is your ideal client? And I know what you do applies to lots of different types of people, lots of different levels of investment, lots of different places in life. But for you, what's your ideal client?
People who are more curious, they're more interested in learning, and how does it work? What is it? They want to talk about that. And what I don't have, I have structured my business that I don't have to only talk to people who've got $100,000 burning a hole in their pocket or $1 million. There are those, and I can explain why do some people do that. But my ideal client is somebody going for a life change. I've had very rewarding conversations with people who nobody's getting paid yet, but they feel like, oh, now I know how it works, and they know to talk to me later. I love that. I got people who just, they just graduated college. Holy shit, now what? Well, here's some things to do. I teach that. I don't have to. I'm also being 65. I've done other things. It's not my first career. I don't have to sell a Toyota in order to be a car salesman, right? Maybe that's a stupid analogy, but I enjoy teaching and seeing people go, oh, so okay, thanks. And we stay in touch. Here's a good example. This kind of constitutes a win, Marcel. It's somebody that 8 years ago I met. She got right out of law school, just became a lawyer. Stayed in touch, helped her some basic stuff. She called me it's been a couple months now before I went to, she's making a bunch of money. I'll just say she's making over 400 grand a year and needs some help. Boom, 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 here we go. So not that everybody can wait 7 years, but I've just stayed in touch. Here we go. And I didn't judge her before with how does it work? What do you do? What should I be thinking about? So to your question, anybody, Mike, you're going to how does this work? And how come everybody just wants to sell me a portfolio or something, but they don't ask me any questions? So
it's not a demographic, it's a mindset that you really respond to.
Yeah.
Great.
Excellent. Fantastic. And I would think too, with that mindset piece, often people who are not married, so widowed, divorced, or single people, they don't have that life partner to bounce it off. So I feel like they're extra curious because they're like, oh shit, I don't want to do it wrong. How do I do it right? That might be speaking from some experience, but they're very curious. They're like, I got to figure this out because, there's no Prince Charming in there. Okay, so let's dive into the speech breakout session, which it's a little bit different at Digital PNA than the other PNAs, but we look at, one, what is his target market? Like, who are these people that need his services? So any curious person with any form of income, and anybody can popcorn out an answer.
Well, I'll kind of help the conversation. The kind of people I work with, we have like the 3 criteria. One is we got to kind of like each other, but 2, you can commit to paying yourself first. It's any amount. If you are committed, even if it's $25, you're ready to start that habit. Nobody's getting paid then, but I'll teach you stuff. And the third one is people who, hey, if I'm going to be your person, you got to commit to meeting me at least twice a year. If you can't do that, then no matter how much you have or don't have, those are the things that I need. We've got to kind of like each other. You can commit to demonstrate you're willing to pay yourself first, and we'll talk a couple times a year.
Yeah, excellent.
So BV, that's a $5 fine since you weren't supposed to talk during this portion. So just FYI. Yeah, there you go. Hi.
We're testing to see how well people were trained.
So my alternate answer, even though he of course nailed some of the good points, is people think about this. People who change jobs and just let that 401k sit at their old job and they just forget about it. I actually did that years ago, left a big corporate job, and 4 or 5 years later or something like that, it was like, oops. So I learned a harsh lesson there. I think actually it was longer than that. And then people who are coming into money. If you have a relative that's passed away, if you have an inheritance, quite often that money needs to be allocated correctly. So either you can set it up in a trust for who you might leave it behind for, or if you actually need that to start to supplement your income in some fashion. There's intelligent ways of investing that money. So
excellent. Okay, so the next category is key phrases or key conversations. So you're out at a happy hour, a barbecue, a wedding. What might trigger a referral where you're like, oh, the groom really needs to talk to BV? Or, my mom or my cousin or my sister, or a comment you might see on Instagram or Facebook where you're like, dude, talk to BV. Get curious.
People that have kids on the way.
Yes.
No, I'm not specifically looking at Courtney, who has a kid on the way.
What? How did this happen?
If you don't know how it happened, BB, that's another whole presentation.
I have so much to learn, man. So
somewhere between the prom and the retirement party.
those are
Yeah.
those are huge financial decisions that need to be made to intelligently, invest the money.
I would say business owners who in the professional space, like you talked about, like lawyers, CPAs. I mean, talk to everyone in those professions because you never know what they don't know. Yeah.
Excellent. So the next category is beneficial syndication. So where are other places online, or maybe a newspaper, or maybe a sponsorship opportunity? Like, where should the name Vaughn-life.net get? These are some ideas on how can BV get out there.
Well, you've got a great personal presentational style, and it comes across terrifically when you have an audience. And so I'm going to say opportunities like chambers or other aggregations where there are members where they need to fill out some sort of content program. I mean, what you have, people I think are inherently interested in, and membership organizations need content, and I think there's a happy intersection there.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I know, BV, we've talked about this, but I'm working on a book called Deal Flow, which is looking at different types of real estate deals. But it would be interesting to do a chapter on like the whole IUL annuity option of how do you access these insurance projects as a funding source versus just a protection source. So I would think for sure for you to be doing more interviews, podcasts, book contributions, even just like a sliver of a book, like a chapter or two. I don't think people want whole long, essays and big thick books, but I think really interesting stories. I think that would be a good chance for you too.
Here's the tangent that kind of peels off from the concept of cultivating curiosity, and it refers to all of our businesses and anything. It's been my experience that humans they struggle with the concept of curiosity. They think they know something and they shut down the curiosity thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I know all about that. I know somebody who is, especially in the world of politics, people, they pick a formula. Making decisions seems really hard for people,
Mm.
and to think about stuff and to learn is agonizing, it seems, because people quit doing it. They just said, here's my path, my formula. So for all the things that every one of us do, Mike, people don't know how they can use and why a relationship or a conversation with you might lead to something, because people aren't curious enough. I think that's what we all struggle
Yeah.
with, that is getting people to be curious about what we do, so they ask a couple more questions,
Yeah.
or maybe have some more lunch or coffee, or what do we do at Countrywide that I don't know about, and just
Mhm.
be curious more than just superficially. I'd like to see more of that among all humans, for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that makes me think of I was talking with Daxon the other day about like kind of fishing in different Facebook groups, and going to find prospective people in there. But I would think for you, with curiosity as an angle, is you could literally have a territory of say 10 groups where you pop in every week and you ask a question. Did your parents talk to you about life insurance? Did your brother love to race? Like I don't feel like I see you out there in the Facebook groups I'm in, and in Financial Joy community. It's a closed group, but it's open for anybody here to go in and participate in and promote it, quite honestly. But I feel like you could triple down on your effort of being curious among some of these groups with 500, 5,000, 50,000 people, and your calendar is going to fill up, dude. But I know that just the networking, to me, it's not enough. Like I was talking to a guy the other day, he wants to sell 1 million books. And I'm like, well, I'm going to need to get him in, 10 million audience size range, because a million size audience not everybody wants the book.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, really get clear on what is your sales territory, and then what are those questions you go and ask these groups of like 30,000 people, because I think people will respond. Will they tell you their life story? No, but they'll answer a yes, no, black, white, maybe not really, right? So I think for you, there's some marketing potential there, because I never see you in these groups, dude, and I want to get you out there.
Let me ask the group a question, since we have them, this because it is on the same topic. So, Brian, you talked about the Edward Jones group, and there's 1,000 of these, men and women out there, and they've got a very simple formula. What they do is a very narrow thing, and what I struggle with is distinguishing what I do is it's not the same as that. I can do that too, but that's the easy stuff. There's so much more. And what I'm, to get people's attention, I struggle with people. As weird as I am, people tune out. I can almost see them. Whoa, I'm still talking. We're not done yet. It's just such a freaking boring topic, or they're afraid. Oh my God, I don't want to talk about it. But to get some attention, help people, how to distinguish myself from the blob of
Well, I don't think it's
the
a
rest
boring
of them.
topic. I think everybody, by the time they have a driver's license, they should have life insurance, right? Anybody on the road who's driving should have life insurance, period. Now, that's my belief, and I don't sell life insurance, but I think you keep saying it's boring. Stop it. It's freaking exciting. It's essential. It's necessary. Like, you've got to own the fact that you're in a really cool and interesting industry, and the fact that someday you get to walk up to so and so and hand them a check for $300,000. Effing cool. Like, I mean, I
Well,
hate the fact that somebody dies to get that check, but I think both you and Courtney are in a very fascinating and important industry. And so I just want you to erase the whole belief that it's boring, because you're changing lives, and you're being the hero when the spouse disappears. Like, it
very
sucks.
gratifying. I feel that, and I guess, but I believe all of that. I love your excitement about it, and I feel like, I wish these other people hadn't tuned out, and that's where I got to. Hey,
Yeah.
Out of the 100, 3 people said yes, and I
Yeah.
changed their life.
Yeah.
I would love it that there were 6 people out of 100 quit, didn't stop
Yeah.
listening. So yeah. I share your excitement. What I do is so gratifying.
Yeah.
It does change their lives.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and for me with data art, I'm like, I tell people all the time, go get 20 no's. Like, go get 20. No, I don't care. I don't want to learn more. Like, go get ghosted in October. That's going to be my campaign.
That's a
starting
great
next
reminder.
Go
Yeah.
get ghosted, because if they don't want to talk about it, fine. Someone will. Someone's waiting. Okay, other categories. What other businesses or categories are missing among this group right now? Like, who do we need here? Like a divorce attorney, a lawyer, a bean counter. Like, what do we need? And anybody can pop out with answers here if you've got an idea.
I think a really great, this is going to sound so pedestrian, but if you got to know somebody who's a great landscaper, people who can pay for a landscaper, they got some scratch to do some other stuff. And landscapers, they see them every couple of weeks. And if you get a landscaper who's, as I met a guy in a BNI group years ago who, man, he was fantastic. And knew people, and oh yeah, I do the lawn for so and so. They're an attorney for this and that. That seems kind of weird, but I would love to have a landscaper, one of those trades kind of people who helps a lot of folks. And when their business is well organized, man, do I want to. Plus, it's just fun to introduce those people. So,
yeah,
trades.
Well, I would second that. A lot of my favorite clients in the past have had beautifully manicured lawns, and that they've got extra income to do that. So let's go find a landscaping team to invite. Any other categories that we can think of? I think like a tax strategist would be great. Somebody who's realizing, hey, you got to change some things up. Maybe a business coach, a life coach. Right? I actually met like 3 life coaches yesterday, which is crazy.
I'm curious about
Yeah, I don't know if
perspective.
do we have any real estate people in the group?
We don't yet. A real estate agent would be great.
How is that possible?
I don't know. I want to preface this: a real estate agent who's using video, because if people aren't using video, this platform may not be perfect for them.
Good point.
Okay, so any other kudos for the presenter or ideas for BV for a future presentation or topics that you would want him to cover?
Well, I loved the fact that this was both a personal presentation, but wasn't one where you simply show slides of your family vacation. This was personal in a way that allowed me to get to know the way you think, Brian. And that now I want to know also how you work. I want to know what I can achieve by working with you. But foundationally, this presentation style gives me a better understanding of Brian's brain. And that's, I think, as you said, an important component of how you work with people.
Cool. Love that feedback, Mike. Thank you.
Excellent. And kind of piggybacking off what Mike said, I think it would be really cool if you said, here are the top 5 ways people use insurance for non-insurance purposes, right? For investing or real estate or funding education. Like what is the result that these products are actually able to do for people? Because we don't know what we don't know. And I think that would be a really cool presentation.
Cool. Thank you.
Any other feedback for BV before we move on? Awesome. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Let's see. Next slide. We are going on referrals and testimonials, and we did lose Brian Trundler. But this is always a chance just to say, hey, I love your haircut, or I've got some closed business. I was going to give a shout out to Rosie today because her and Steve have gotten my books caught up for the last couple months. And so that's wonderful. And then I had a thank you to Brian Trundler because we got Daxton into Digital PNA. And so that's a thank you to PNA just in general. Oh, and then Mike. So Charlie saw you. She said you got to be on the panel facilitating. And she said that it was just a really cool experience. She met a lot of nice people. She's been setting up one-to-ones all week with people from the Business Journal Small Business Expo. So that's a testimony to you.
So glad to hear that, because that is exactly what we wanted to achieve with the expo. A platform for relationships to be built.
Excellent. Well, it happened.
Great.
Okay, any other referrals or testimonials? I feel like I should have more than I do today. Daxton, you got anything you want to share? How's it been being in Bothell PNA?
It's been good. Yeah, I was gonna say thank you to Brian for accepting me into the Bothell PNA, but yeah, it's been good. Really helpful people in there.
Excellent. All right, BV, Courtney, any shares here, referrals, testimonials?
Not this week.
No worries, no worries.
I met Daxton last week at Linwood PNA.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, he subbed for me, subbed
Yeah.
for Chris. I was like,
He subbed for Chris.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
he was Chris and Martin.
Yeah.
that's funny.
So, Courtney, did you say Countrywide is 100 years old this year or next year?
Yeah, Country Financial, not Countrywide.
Oh, sorry, Country
Yeah.
Financial, right.
Countrywide is
in
the old mortgage company
Right.
that doesn't
Yeah.
exist
In-
anymore.
In 2025
yeah,
or
100 years
2020?
is 1925 was our
Wow.
Okay, fantastic.
start.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that. So I want to encourage you guys, if you're not getting business yet from Digital PNA or you're not getting enough, schedule a one-to-one. You know, when we close up the stream here in a few minutes, I'll leave it open if you want to just schedule and book time with somebody. But I know that 9 times out of 10 after a one-to-one, there's usually a referral within the next month or two because you're top of mind. And if you haven't done a one-to-one with folks here, please schedule those because they are very powerful and can often be lucrative. Okay, so moving forward, let me move this slide up here. Digital PNA ideal business category. So we are a little bit different in the sense that you can zoom in from anywhere. You do not have to have a brick and mortar to be a part of Digital PNA. So if you know like a podcast producer or a voiceover artist, I'm still working on Lori for that one, or a copy editor or a web developer. These are some categories that would specifically make for good power partners for people who are creating content in the digital world frequently. So be thinking, take a screenshot if you want, but be thinking about these particular folks out there in all your networking this week. And then some events coming up. So we've got comedy this Friday out in Bothell, Mill Creek. You're welcome to come. And actually, Daxton, if you're around Friday, we'd love to have you for your first comedy show. It's fun. I get to host the improv, and then Brian's the MC. And then the DNA of PNA, this is something Brian's been doing monthly. So whether you're a newer member or you just have questions, you're like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if, right? This is a great chance to run ideas or to get questions from Brian, the owner of PNA. And then save the date. And actually, I don't actually see a date on there, but there is a Christmas party coming up for PNA NW. Let me go grab that link real quick. Who's been to the PNA parties before that can say something nice about it? While I hunt for this link.
Well, I would say when I went to the picnic, I had seen you guys digitally in 2 dimensions, and I thought it showed me this extended community of the various real PNAs. When you're a part of one, you're a part of all, and you have this opportunity to kind of spiderweb a really remarkable way in the community. And I was quite impressed. And what a fun bunch of people, and all kinds of people too, which I love that. It was a much, not that I had low expectations, but what a great group of folks. So, I mean, I could pimp out PNA in general because I was pleasantly surprised, man. It was fun. Some other things. So both Brian and Marcel are way taller than I thought. You don't really think of that. So, whoa, okay, we're eye level here. So some of the fun stuff. So
we are tall. So I did find out it's the holiday party is December 10th. So be sure to open up your calendar, put that date in. You're all invited. You're allowed to bring a date or a friend. Not required, but there'll be a lot of entertainment, fun chances to win. If you want to bring a raffle to the party, you get stage time. So if you want to speak at the microphone, and whether you're giving away a bottle of wine or a gift basket all about your product, you can get creative with that. So be thinking about that, or just come and win something. I actually won 2 gift baskets yesterday at Exceptional Connection, so that was a hoot. So it'll be a fun event. And then looking forward, our speaker rotation, Brian Trendler is next November 5th, Karen's the 19th, and then Courtney, you're our final one for the year, December 3rd. So excited to have you share there. And then those last 3 are not right. I gotta update that. But Brian Trendler's next. And then membership renewals, nobody needs that necessarily because we're not due. But I want to bounce way back up here. So in closing, I want to encourage you to think about what was said and how you can talk about what you learned, right? Maybe you do a post about curiosity and how you met this new cool guy named BV, and you should go to his website if you're curious about how to, make sure you're covered. Or maybe you just rewatch this video and share it back out to your sweetheart. So this is a live broadcast that will live on the channel. But let's see if we can get maybe 50 to 100 views on this, and BV can get some attention and get those curious people who are out there asking important questions get connected to him. So, yeah, these meetings, we don't want them just to stop here. It's like keep the activity going. I did capture 2 video clips of BV, so I will be tagging you those on Instagram once we're done. But that's just, we're doing some skill building here to learn that these stories and these experiences can live beyond the initial meeting. So with that, I'm going to end the stream, and then we can schedule some appointments here real quick if we want. So thank you for being here.